Hi there, all my crafty friends, and if you're new here, I want to welcome you to my channel. In this video, I'll be decoupaging some beautiful rice paper on a wooden plaque. I'll add some 3D ferns and two of the cutest little lovebirds on a branch, and of course, a couple of hearts. So if you're ready, let's make a mess. I bought these wooden rounds at Hobby Lobby, and I'm starting off by giving it a quick sanding and then painting it white. When decoupaging, you want to start with a white base preferably. You can use other light colors like cream, but rice paper is translucent, so any dark colors will show through your image. Anne asked me to do something romantic in pink and gold. Here you go, Anne, a couple of cute little lovebirds for you. Enjoy! I got this gorgeous rice paper from decoupagenapkins.com, and I'm going to tell you all about them in just a minute. I'm going to separate the birds from the rest of the picture. I'm not going to use them, just the flowers. I'm using a water brush. Wherever you put the water, the paper will tear easier. When decoupaging, you want to tear your edges and not cut them. Torn edges are much easier to blend. If you don't have a water brush, you can use water and a paintbrush and get the same results. Decoupagenapkins.com has such a great selection of rice papers as well as napkins that you can purchase one at a time. Rub-on transfers, molds, modeling clay, stencils, stamps, scrapbook paper, and much more. Over 5,600 products. They offer a 5% discount on orders over $50, 5% and free shipping on orders over $75, and 10% discount plus free shipping on orders over $125. They are wonderful to work with and send out their orders fast. Make sure you check them out. I'll leave you a link in my description box below. I'm spraying the paper with water because when the paper is wet, it's more pliable and easier to work with. It also helps reduce bubbles and wrinkles. I'm painting with Mod Podge and then I'll lay the paper in place. I'm only painting half of the circle with the Mod Podge at a time. It's easier to keep everything lined up once you have your placement figured out. I have a video with some tips and tricks for decoupaging. I'll leave a link to that video in my description box below. I have a small area at the top where the paper wasn't large enough to cover, so I'm adding another piece over that area. Once the Mod Podge dries, you can sand around all the edges, and this will remove all the excess with a nice sharp cut. You can use sandpaper or a nail file. I love my little mini sander. I have this listed in my favorite tools section. All the products and tools that I use in this video will be listed in my description box below, along with links. I have all my favorite tools listed at the top of that section. These are all tools that I use regularly and love because they make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to make some ferns to line the edges of the board. The mold is very shallow, so I'm using cream paste instead of clay. I'll use a palette knife to spread it in the mold and scrape off the excess, and I'll let that dry overnight. If you're enjoying and finding some value in this video, please hit that like button for me. Doing so helps my channel to grow and sends this video to more people out there. That way I can continue to bring you awesome tutorials. Thanks for doing that. It's dry now, so I'm using an alcohol wipe to remove any excess dried paste from around the ferns and then removing them from the mold. I absolutely love the way cream paste is flexible when it dries. You can bend it to fit on anything. I'm painting the ferns with two different shades of green. very dark green by Deco Art, Hauser dark green, and Martha Stewart citrine gold. The leaves in the rice paper are light and dark green, so I want the ferns to match. I'll let the paint dry for about an hour, and then I'll give them a coat of satin varnish to prepare them for antiquing. I'll let the varnish dry for about 2 hours. I'm working on some great projects for the upcoming weeks. I'll be doing some decoupage, more 3D air dry clay, and mason jar decorating. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Make sure you click that bell so you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. I'm mixing Folk Art's antiquing medium in cocoa bean with some water to make it runny. I like it a little thinner than how it comes out of the bottle. I'm brushing it on the ferns and then dabbing it off right away. It will stay in all the cracks and crevices, making all the details from the mold stand out. I cut the ferns in half lengthwise, so I'd have a nice straight edge on the side edges of the plaque. I'm adding some metallic luster rubs in Gold Rush and White Frost. I'm putting some on my finger and then just rubbing it over the tops of the ferns very lightly, so it just highlights the high spots from the mold. I'm adding the gold first and then layering the white right over top of the gold. Layering rubs gives a nice effect. If you don't have any rubs, you can just dry brush some gold and pearl paint. I'm going to glue the ferns around the edge of the plaque with the cut edges on the outside. Since the cream paste dried so flexible, I'm able to bend them in place. I'm using a Shore Bonder cordless glue gun. I absolutely love this glue gun. It's so nice to work without fighting a cord that's in your way all the time. I have this listed in my favorite tools section in my description box below, in case you want to check it out. I'm going to create some splatters by mixing some dark brown paint and white paint with water to make them really runny. I'm using a fan brush and tapping it lightly to create the splatters. Where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. It's fun to see what cities and countries you are all watching from. I'm filming from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. I'm going to trim the outside edges with this beautiful gold cord. The edge is wide because of adding the ferns, so I'm going to wrap the cord around twice. Anytime I'm cutting something that can unravel, I put some hot glue around where I'm going to cut. That will stop it from unraveling and fraying. I'm going to make this look even more vintage by adding a crackle finish. I'm using Pentart's Fine Line Crackle Varnish. It's a two-part system and I'm brushing on component number 1. I'll let that dry for about an hour or so until it's clear. Once dry, I'll brush on component number 2. This step is an amber color. Use thin, even strokes. If you get a buildup or drips anywhere, it'll show when dry. I'll let this dry for a couple of hours. Once dry, you'll see the cracks. You can use a heat gun or blow dryer for just a couple of minutes to make more and deeper cracks. I'm going to add some antiquing, and that will make all the cracks stand out. I'm using Master's Touch oil paint in the color Raw Umber as my antiquing medium. I'm applying it with a soft cloth and then wiping it off right away. It will stay in all the cracks and crevices, making all those nice cracks show up. Oil paint is very reasonable in cost and does the same thing as the expensive antiquing paste, and it comes in various colors, so you can get some very interesting finishes. I did a project using blue oil paint as an antique on a planter. I'll give you a link for that video in my description box below in case you would like to check it out. I let that dry for about an hour and then gave it a coat of Rust-Oleum's triple thick glossy spray sealer. I cut these two adorable lovebirds in hearts with my Cricut machine. I used watercolor paper because it's real thick, just like cardboard, and is made for paint. I'm painting them black so they'll look like a silhouette. I actually ended up painting both sides because they're going to be raised and I don't want the back side to stand out with white. I also made sure to get all the edges, and I let them dry for about an hour. I realize that not everyone has a cutting machine. I'll have this item listed in my Etsy store in the section called Tutorial Packages. It will be pre-cut, unpainted, and ready for you to use. I want to give the lovebirds and hearts some golden highlights. I'm sparsely adding some beacon foil adhesive on the birds and hearts. I don't want them to be solid gold, just highlights. I'll let that dry for about 15 minutes until it's sticky. Now it's time to add the rub-on foil. I love adding this type of foil to my projects. It's really shiny, just like gold. I'm placing it on top of the images and just rubbing. When I remove the foil, you'll see all the gold streaks. I'm going to raise the birds with some double sticky foam dots. That will give them a really nice 3D look. The leaves were pretty tiny, so I cut some of them in half. I'm making a bow using some matching pink ribbon and some cream sheer sparkly organza ribbon. I used a real thin wired cream and gold ribbon to tie the center of the bows, and then attach the two bows together with the same wired ribbon. I added some gold cord at the top for a hanger and glued the bow at the top by the hanger. I also made a matching tassel to hang at the bottom of the plaque. I have a video on how to make an easy tassel. I'll leave you a link in my description box below. I put together a playlist of some other tutorials you may enjoy. Click the picture on the right to be taken directly to that playlist. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking my picture in the top right corner so you don't miss any future videos.